I like his basic thrust for increasing freedom in cyberspace, keeping government the heck out of it, no taxing, no regulation. But some of the other ideas, I'm not so sure about.
Well, one of his main themes these days is that copyright is undefendable and therefore should not be valid in cyberspace. On the other hand, what we see is that there was a big conference a while ago, WIPO, on intellectual property rights. They tried to bring databases as a copyrightable item. That didn't succeed, but what did succeed is to bring more of like music and song text into the cyberspace copyright domain. That means you have to pay for them. Do you see this will limit, that this whole copyright issue will limit the expansion of cyberspace?
I don't think so. It's hard to say how it's going to play out right now. I think we're finding ways of using various kinds of encryption techniques so that, for instance, people producing photographic images or artwork can track whether that's being used by somebody. You can put a kind of a digital watermark on it. And I think that kind of thing is important. I think intellectual property is as important as physical property. But we have to be very careful about it. There's also some very bizarre ideas of copyrighting human genes, for instance. To me, that may give incentives for more creation of cyberspace. If you can actually make some money by creating ideas, there'll be more ideas created.
Yeah, but we see that the people who saw the cyberspace revolution, and people like, on one hand, Barlow and you know, even Lundell, who saw the Silicon Brotherhood years and years ago. But on the other hand, there's Bill Gates, and he's buying copyrightable material and recopywriting art that he bought from all museums as his new domain.
Fortunately, though, it seems that Bill is not interested in keeping it as his private preserve. He's interested in making it available on CD-ROMs like the new Leonardo CD, which is really a brilliant piece of... And now we've grown from just a handful of people to quite a few thousand. It's very hard to count the numbers. But I see larger parts of the more mainstream culture is starting to think our way. You know, Wired magazine has done pretty well. They've grown to about 1/3 in, so I've never really read him. I'm familiar with some of the things he did, but I've never really studied his work.
And the ideas about cyberspace from Bill Gibson, because your idea of changing the mind comes up in his books by plugging in and augmenting our capabilities.
Bill Gibson, not really. I think he didn't really originate some of these ideas as much as some people think. I think, for instance, that Werner Vinge, it's driving me nuts.
No, they can't get it.
Oh, I'll leave that on the microphone.
No.
Lift that up. I can't concentrate with it.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, Werner Vinge, he was, his book True Names was really the first book describing what later was attributed to Bill about living in a virtual world.
Yeah, Vinge didn't invent the term cyberspace. Gibson did invent that term, but he really discussed it before Gibson did. In True Names, he really created the whole idea of a cyberspace, which is remarkably prescient. Now we have these virtual worlds being built, which are much like he described. Right now they're mostly text-based rather than video, but that's beginning to change already. Vinge also introduced another idea, which is very popular among a lot of the cyber culture, which is the idea of the technological singularity. An idea that with artificial intelligence coming along, nanotechnology, the processing power and the ability to manipulate physical reality, that we will accelerate our change. We're going through a change like this, and if you want to be more romantic and relaxed and not so analytical, I think we'll be able to very, very finely tune how we feel and think in the future. It won't be at the mercy of nature anymore. We'll choose that for ourselves.
But again, there's a danger there that we only will seek the ones we like, not experience maybe the anger or the frustration that also is necessary to help us break new frontiers, for instance.
I think that is a danger. It's going to require some education to make most sensible choices. One danger is that we'll see a growing division between people where people who are already pretty wise and intelligent will use these technologies to become even smarter and more intelligent and more able and happier. And those people who are not very bright or screwed up will use them to, just like they use drugs right now, to basically make themselves more stupid, more narrow, less creative. So that is a danger in these things. I'm not sure there's any real way of preventing that. What we can do is try to educate people in the best ways to use these technologies.
Yeah, but don't you see that, for instance, media over the past whatever time have tended to become numbing media, like, you know, we watch television, what's on television, and the net tends to become the same. It's more of the same. So for the average user, the average person, they're not really liberating media, are they?
Well, I think generally the media have got better over time. There's so much garbage on TV that I personally watch very little of it. But there are some quality shows. If you get the more select channels, you can get some good science shows, some good information. Plus, there's really nothing wrong with the occasional soap opera if you want to relax a little bit. But the internet, I think, is offering new opportunities for discovering the useful information you want much more effectively. But it's true, there's no guarantee that people will use that sensibly. Some people, like our cat here, will just be looking for new forms of cat food.
Your magazine, which is not as mainstream as, for instance, Wired or Mondo was, but it seems to be the stuff that inspires the movie makers.
I wish it did. Unfortunately, movie makers are mostly interested in disaster and horror, not really in positive visions of what's possible for human beings. I think we're beginning to see a trickle of some of these ideas, at least some of the technologies, if not the...
Yeah, come on.
Okay, I'll take it. Let me get the guys. This is not so much color. I'd like to see that one. So you just unscrew it, it comes out like...
Blijven schieten, Caroline. Ja, blijven schieten. Oké, kid. Hier, Caroline. Sound. Have you seen this miracle? This is a great thing, isn't it?
But the real chaos is up here. What a mess!
Oh, she's you. Hey, her father is a writer. She's used to this.
Now, maybe not quite like this you're not used to.
The secret.
That's the cable room. That's
The cable room where you have the...
But I mean, it's,
And the coffee.
it's a bit of a mess.
Oh, it's not too much. As you say,
This is where I work.
this is great.
This
Jesus.
is where I work.
You have music on while you work?
Oh yeah.
Classic
Yeah.
music.
But
Hey, give Sony a call for a small
will.
camera like this.
I think I will. That's neat.
Yes.
Boy, that's neat. Yeah.
And you know what they have? They have a computer with a... You know what Firewire is, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. There we go.
Yeah?
See what it looks like. What I like about these digital cameras. There you are. Okay.
Yeah, here we are.
This is 640 by, oh no, this is 12,